Good morning. It's April 22nd, 2020. I'm Zank with Bennett Data Science for today's update on the COVID-19 recovery graphs. I'll start with a brief overview of how to read the graphs, and today we're introducing some big changes. In addition to the world data, we've also got USA data broken out state by state, and we've lowered the threshold for considering a region down to 200 deaths from the virus. You'll see how that plays out in just a moment. That allows us to incorporate some regions we didn't have before, like Japan, which was requested by a colleague. So very briefly, how to read these graphs. We have three main views, and if we're looking at all the country data here, this first view shows the number of deaths increasing slowly in the very beginning. We've got this rapid growth phase in the middle, and then they tail off slowly at the top. And this is what we call flattening of the curve. The death rate view shows day over day the number of new deaths from COVID-19. We want this number to be zero. It starts out rather low, and then it grows until the day over day death rate is very, very high, and then it reduces until we see no new deaths today versus yesterday from COVID-19. That's what this is. It's really a rate. And then the raw data view allows us to see the actual data. The blue is the number of deaths, and we hope to see this flatten at the top. And then the orange is this day-over-day rate that we're looking to go down to zero. If you don't see the new World and USA buttons or the update here to watch the videos every day, do a hard refresh of your browser, which is Shift-Command-R, or if you're on a PC, it's Shift-Control-R. Okay, let's get into the big stories for today. Of note, the United States is out of this rapid growth area, and they're starting to get into, they've earned a blue dot here, meaning that I feel that the United States is getting into this curve, into this region where the curve is showing flattening. And we can look at the raw data to see what that looks like. Again, when this orange curve drops down to zero, we've beaten COVID-19, at least in this phase of the virus. So we want to see this drop as quickly as possible. And I'm very encouraged, day over day over day, we've seen this drop from a peak back on April 10th. That's the first bit of good news. This is driven largely by what's going on in New York, and we'll see that in just a moment. Let's see, Italy and Spain are also showing a drop in death rate day over day. Italy showed a brief tabling, if you will, of this rate dropping. I'd like to see this drop much faster, and now it's dropping a bit faster, but this delay is certainly concerning. We hope that Italy drops off much sooner and gets down to zero new deaths per day. The same thing is happening in Spain. You can see that the death rate increased very rapidly and is tailing off more slowly than it increased. The good news here is it is consistently day over day dropping, and that's exactly what we want to see. Also of note here, if we go down quite a bit, is that Canada has been rising rapidly and is still going up. And the last thing I'll mention here internationally is Sweden. We're not seeing the deaths in Sweden table off yet. We're seeing a lot of behavior of up and down. This could be resulting from how they're counting, how they're attributing deaths to COVID-19. But what I do know is that for yesterday and today, there were 85 new deaths day over day yesterday, and today it's 84. We want to see that drop much more quickly than it's dropping, so we're going to keep an eye on Sweden. Ireland is another country that's just going up, and we haven't seen any break or any notion that the curve is flattening in Ireland yet. Let's go up to the top and switch over to United States and look at a few stories here. Of note, most spectacularly, New York is dropping consistently, and this is really good news. The number of new deaths day over day is 535, down from a peak of over 750 deaths per day. Again, when this drops down to zero, New York will have no new cases of COVID-19. It's great to see that New Jersey and Michigan are also dropping very quickly. Pennsylvania is still in this rising phase where hopefully they peak soon and start to drop. Louisiana doing quite well. Connecticut showing some of this behavior we've seen where they'll reach a peak and then the number of new deaths per day is staying consistent. Not exactly what we want to see at all. Georgia is the last state I'll mention here, where until last week, Georgia had counted only deaths in which COVID-19 diagnoses were confirmed by laboratory tests. So by omitting the symptomatic people who died before they could be tested, the state likely undercounted deaths from COVID-19. And that's why we see this up and down in the curve, likely from how they implemented a new way of testing. So we're seeing this death rate day over day stay consistent or even rise. Let's hope that that's an artifact of counting and that the true deaths are actually inside the data somewhere and actually really dropping, like what we see here in Texas. So that's an overview of the COVID-19 recovery graphs. I hope this helps. If you have questions about a particular region or an area, please reach out to me in the comments and I'll make sure to mention it in tomorrow's report. Thank you and be well.